So I wanted to do a quick rundown of 3 wallets that I've used over the past couple years. And the reason I'm doing this video is I just got the Groove Light wallet in the mail, and I just wanted to do kind of a comparison of the 3 wallets that I've used. And I should probably change them to this order because this is kind of how I've progressed through these 3 wallets. I started with a Ridge wallet. You can see once I get these out of here that I've had heavy use on all 3 of these wallets. I like the Ridge wallet a lot. It's the smallest by far of the 3 wallets. Just the ease of use is a little bit, I would say it's a little more difficult to use at the end of the day. The Extra is a great wallet, and they've actually updated this wallet, which I don't have. I have one of the originals, I believe. And I've had no problems with this wallet, but over time I've noticed that the mechanism to keep the cards in has gotten loose, and I've actually dropped a card a time or 2 with this wallet, which we'll go into more. And then I just got the Groove wallet, so this isn't a review of the Groove wallet, just kind of a comparison to these 3 as far as function and usability. But I have not had real world use on this yet at this point. So I started with the Ridge wallet, and this isn't exactly how they come, but the boxes are correct. I opted to get the clip on this particular wallet. And you can see this thing wears with use around the edges. You can see that the paint is coming off a little bit, which was not a big deal at all to me. But that is something to note if you're into that type of thing and you don't want the wear to show on your wallet. But essentially the way this wallet works is you have a little finger groove here, and in theory you're able to put cards in between the 2 flaps here, like so. You can slide cards in, and you can fit quite a few cards in. That's one of the biggest, I'd say, benefits of this is I was able to put more cards than in the others combined, probably. This thing will stretch quite a ways. I never noticed over the lifetime of this wallet that it stretched to the point where it was unusable. It's just harder. It's, like I said, you can put a lot of cards in there. It is harder to gain access to those cards, especially when you have several in there compared to the other 2, which you'll see. I opted for the money clip. It does also have the option for kind of a poor example, but this clip goes across like this, and you can put the strap. You take it apart. Long story. You can install. This isn't necessarily an install video, but it's an option that you can use with elastic and put your money under there. I noticed it was pretty loose. I wasn't a big fan of this option, so I did not ever use it. But it does come with the screwdriver needed for all the bolts. You can take this thing apart, clean it, do whatever you need. Everything's replaceable. This elastic, like I said, has not worn out, but if you did need to replace it, that is an option. The money clip is extremely tight, which is a good thing in my opinion. You're able to get your money secure in there. It's not going to fall out. This is a good wallet. It's just, for me, it was a little more difficult to use in terms of getting your cards out. You put a lot of cards in there. The idea is to poke them out with this, squeeze the bottom, they fan out, and you can grab them. It works good for a couple cards. When you get more in there, it just gets more difficult. So that's the Ridge. Good wallet, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Next wallet I moved on to is the Extra. I'm not sure exactly which one this is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically, it's a more of a leather wallet, but this is kind of a hard plastic material underneath. And then you have the sleeve on the back, and the sleeve just slides around like this with that band, you can see. The way you operate this one is you slide your cards in the top, and in order to get them out, you hit this button at the bottom, and it fans them out very nicely, which is the biggest perk of this wallet. But like I said, with the other wallet, you're probably only able to fit 4 or 5 cards in there. Versus the Ridge, you're able to slide several cards inside. But the benefit of this is you can slide your needed cards in here. For instance, I have a key card that I use to get into the station at work, and with that being said, I can slide that right there and scan in without having to fan cards open. So you're able to fit a generous amount of cards in here, insurance cards, whatnot. But all my payment cards and everything, my driver's license went up here, and that was a good option for me. The money goes here. It's a little bit loose, which you can expect from elastic, but I never lost any money or anything. The only downfall of this wallet that I had so far was that there's no real safety mechanism here. If I was to shake the cards like this, they would come out. Not easily with everyday use, but if I was to put some force behind it, I would probably lose a card or 2. You can also slide cards in between this here. That was a good option. The only thing I noticed is that with the cards there, this slid around quite a bit. And that still did that anyways, but it wasn't a big deal. It wouldn't go more than probably that, and I could go close that up, and you're all set. I fit several cards in here, which was a benefit. It's a pretty big slot there, and I never lost a card. Nothing got loose in that spot there. It does have an extra band if you ever needed it. If you wanted to go more minimalist, you could just take this entire sleeve off and just use the card puller. Not puller, but you know what I'm saying, the card part itself, and just use your cards in there. For me, that wasn't necessarily feasible. I have stuff that I need to carry around, but it wasn't bad at all. So that brings us to the groove wallet, which is new. It's very similar in a lot of aspects to this wallet. I just feel like it's kind of refined a little bit. This one's all metal. And let me go back, I forgot to mention, this wallet too, the wear on the top, there is going to be a little bit of wear over time around that case. You may not be able to tell, but that leather is peeling back a little bit. Once again, not a big deal for me at all. I can deal with that without any issue, but it's just something to note if you're interested in a wallet like this. Lastly, you have the groove wallet, and that's what this looks like. So it's very slim and sleek. So far, I really like the design of it. And it's kind of got a similar layout. So you can see it's got a sleeve on the back, but this sleeve on this one, it screws into the actual case. So you can see there's 2 screws there, 2 screws there. This actually comes with a money clip that I have over here. It comes with this money clip, and that's pre-installed on. It seemed very tight. I needed more space, but this would be a good option if you needed to use something like this. But this thing screws on, so it's not going to slide anywhere, and it's got this band is very tight as of now. We'll see what it does over time. The only downside I've seen so far is that this slot right here is extremely tight. It's a good thing in some regard, but overall I could not fit the amount of cards in this that I could in the extra. So I did remove some cards, which is not a bad thing. It kind of removes some clutter that I actually did not need, but that's something to note. I fit about maybe two or three cards in this slot, 2 of them being pretty thin insurance cards that are more paper material, like laminated paper. So that's just something to note if you're needing to carry a lot of stuff. This is probably going to be a little more difficult. You're going to have to downsize. The way this functions is very similar to the Extra in terms of fanning them out, but you just slide this up. As you slide this up, this mechanism in here pushes the cards up and it fans them out just like the Extra. It's really clean, and it's actually really satisfying feeling doing that. You can fit your cards about 4 or 5 in there, I believe. I think I've got 5 just regular cards with the what do you call that? The lettering that's sticking up versus smooth. So if you had smooth lettering and numbers, you probably could fit more. The best part about this is you can see when I slide this up, that latch right here is actually moving, which allows that to slide up. So when the cards are in there, this latch right here actually locks them in. They cannot fall out. You can shake it this way and nothing's going to fall out, because that is actually the slot is actually thinner than the card themselves, so you can't lose any cards. It's a really great feature, and one of the main reasons I got this wallet, to be perfectly honest. But with all that being said, as far as sizing goes, I'll put all these up next to each other and you can kind of see how they play out. By far, the Ridge wallet's the smallest. As you can see, the smallest, I would say the Groove is heavier than the Extra. It's slightly smaller. The Extra's probably the lightest, with the Ridge next. They're honestly, it's so marginal that you probably won't notice from everyday use, but the Groove is heavier, just stock, and then these two are almost exactly the same. I would weigh them, but honestly, it's going to be so microscopic that it's really not even necessarily important. At the end of the day, they're all pretty close in weight, so I wouldn't really play weight into the equation too much. Size is the biggest thing. These two are going to be basically the same size, slightly smaller in the Groove, and then the Ridge is going to be extremely small. As far as width goes, when you start loading cards, this is obviously going to get much wider, but straight off the bat, this is probably the thinnest of the 3. If that's something that's important to you, you should consider that. As far as these two go, these actually, I'll put them all next to each other. the groove and the extra are pretty much the same thickness. Honestly, at the end of the day, when you load cards into this ridge, they're more than likely going to be similar widths altogether. So it's kind of up to you what you like. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this. I like how really it's just kind of perfected all the different wallets that have come out and taken features off all of them, which is good in my opinion. I haven't, like I said, I have not tried the new extra, but it's something that you may want to consider before taking my opinion on this, because this is an older model. I understand they've made kind of an upgrade on it, and it looks a lot different, and it may function differently, but I don't know. They're just this kind of real world three wallets that I've used. You know, do your own research, but let's just kind of look at all three of them, and you can kind of decide whether or not this is which one's for you.